What's good, YouTube? Heroes Gaming here, and today I want to give you guys 6 tips to becoming a better hitter in MLB The Show 20. Many people have been coming to my live streams asking for tips and advice on how to hit better, so I thought I'd make this video for you guys and maybe these tips will help you out. Zone hitting. I advise anyone who isn't an elite MLB The Show player or anyone who has not been playing the show for years to stay away from zone hitting. Yes, I know it's the most popular option to choose because you see everyone in Diamond Dynasty and all your favorite YouTubers using it, but I promise you, they have been playing the show for a very long time. It takes a lot of effort and there's a lot that goes into zone hitting. You have to watch the pitch coming in, and not only that, wherever the ball goes, you have to lead your reticle, then finally determine whether you want to swing or not. That's a lot of things to try and figure out and do for just one pitch. So stay away from zone hitting unless you want a challenge. Directional hitting. This has always been one of my favorite ways of hitting. I grew up playing baseball games where this was the only way to hit by only pressing one button. Directional hitting is pretty much that. You don't have to move a reticle around the strike zone to find where the ball is going to end up. All you have to do is watch the pitch come in and decide whether or not to swing. Pretty simple and straight to the point. When it comes to actually hitting the ball, you always want to use the X button, which is for normal swings. Why? It gives you the greatest chance of putting the ball into play versus using square to power hit or circle to contact hit. Yes, I know, if you have a pure power hitter, or maybe your attributes are at a point where your power or your contact are both 100, so you want to use a power or contact swing to get a hit. The disadvantages of using a power swing is you can't check swing, and if you miss, you miss very bad. Contact swing sounds good in theory, but in reality, you will only foul pitches constantly and eventually strike out. By using X to swing, it has the biggest percentage for actually putting the ball into play, and you can still hit home runs consistently. You won't notice any difference from not using square to hit home runs if your power is at a decent rating. I'd say at least a 80 plus in power. So X swing is the way to go. Guest pitching is something I used to do, but this year I finally turned that feature off. It gave me a lot of problems as far as putting my attention on one part of the strike zone and ignoring all the others, and it can really make your batting average go down. So you want to turn guest pitching off so you can focus more on the pitch itself coming in, not so much where you guess you think it would be and not swing it at all because you assume it's going to be a ball. Very quick and simple. Okay, using dynamic difficulty. It is very essential when it comes to players who are new to playing MLB The Show, whether you're using Play Now, Franchise, or Road to the Show. What dynamic difficulty does is it starts you out at beginner difficulty, and depending on how well you do in the game, determines if that difficulty stays where it is or goes up and down. For example, you're on beginner difficulty and it's your first AA game, and you go 3 for 3 with all singles. Your difficulty would go from beginner to rookie in the same game. But let's say the next game you strike out 2 times. Your meter would now bring you back down to beginner. As you do better in the game, you will find yourself at a difficulty where you're comfortable at and leave the dynamic difficulty and just choose whatever difficulty you want. And one more thing, if you go into your sliders, you can find a slider for a dynamic difficulty. The lower you set the slider, the longer it would take for you to jump from one difficulty to another. For example, like I mentioned earlier, if you go 3 for 3 in a game, your difficulty will easily go up. But when the slider is turned down, you will probably have to do good in a span of 2 to 3 games for the difficulty to either go up and down. So basically, the lower the slider, the longer you'll be on that difficulty because you have to do more. Last but not least, the camera angle. It's really up to the person, to be honest. I won't talk much about this, but it is still really important because you want to be able to see the ball coming in at a good angle and be able to judge whether it's going to be a fair or foul ball. A lot of Diamond Dynasty players like to use zoom camera angle versus the traditional show camera angles or fisheye angles. I use a custom camera angle, and you can also do the same thing by clicking edit camera and finding the right angle that works for you. Alright guys, I hope that these tips helped you out and gave you a better clue on how to hit better in MLB The Show 20. I hope to see some of you in my live streams and telling me how this worked for you. Until then, peace out, have a great day.